Here are 5 robot types you need to know before you define your requirement for a vendor to automate your processes. So that you know whether the vendor has chosen the right one for you, I'm the digital avatar of Ayah Jacky Lim. He is a professional engineer and has been in the industry for over 20 years. While Jacky is busy working on the ground, he created me to deliver the practical guidance he experienced himself. I have been involved in engineering system integration for over 20 years, from pure mechanical to industrial automation system, and have evaluated from both the buyer and the system integrator side. Robot selection is almost always done by your system integrator, either your in-house team or a third-party automation house. But here is what most production managers do not realize. If you define your requirement incorrectly, even the best integrator will build you the wrong system. So before you talk to any vendor, understand these 5 robot types and when each one belongs in your process. The first type is the articulated robot. Most people call it a 6-axis robot. Select an articulated robot when your object is not lying flat or the process requires changing the orientation of the object. If you need to pick a part lying in an angle and present it vertically or rotate it from one plane to another, the articulated robot handles this naturally. Within this category, there are 2 subtypes. Select an industrial articulated robot when cycle speed is a priority. Select a Cobot, which is a collaborative robot, when cycle speed is not the main concern, when the process involves many different steps within one cycle, or when space constraints prevent you from installing safety fencing or guards. The articulated robot is versatile. But versatility has a cost. Do not select it for handling objects that lying flat or processes that do not require orientation changes. There is almost always a faster and simpler option for those. The second type is the Delta robot. If your process does not require changing the object's orientation and speed is your top priority, the Delta robot is your answer. Delta robots are mounted upside down above the work area. They reach down, pick, and place at speeds that other robot types cannot match. They are the standard choice for high-speed packaging and sorting lines. 2 things to plan for before you specify a Delta robot. First, payload capacity is limited. Delta robots are built for speed and light loads. Confirm your part weight fits within the rated payload with margin to spare. Second, for larger Delta robots, the mounting structure is a real budget item. A large Delta robot needs a firm and substantial overhead structure to operate reliably. I have seen projects where this structural requirement was underestimated and added significant unplanned cost. For smaller Delta robots handling light payloads, the structure is straightforward and does not carry the same cost concern. Know which size range your application needs and plan your budget accordingly. The third type is the SCARA robot. SCARA stands for Selective Compliance Assembly Robot Arm. Select a SCARA robot when accuracy and repeatability are your main concern. High-end SCARA robots achieve repeatability as fine as 0.008 millimeters on the primary joint. To put that in perspective, a human hair is approximately 0.07 millimeters in diameter. We are talking about a robot that repeats its position to roughly 1/9 the width of a human hair, cycle after cycle for millions of cycles. This level of precision makes SCARA robots the right choice for processes like mechanical watch assembly and placing electronic components onto PCB boards. These are applications where a Delta robot's speed advantage means nothing if the placement is not exact. SCARA robots also handle vertical insertion well, which makes them suitable for any process that requires pressing, inserting, or seating a component precisely into a socket or housing. The fourth type is the Cartesian robot. It moves along 3 straight axes X, Y, and Z. Select a Cartesian robot for simple, straightforward processes that require the robot to travel across a large working area. A common application I see regularly is picking parts directly from plastic injection molding machines. The robot needs to reach into the machine, extract the part, travel a long distance, and place it onto a conveyor. The process is simple. The travel distance is long. A Cartesian robot does this reliably and cost-effectively. Do not overlook Cartesian robots because they look simple. That simplicity is the point. Easy to program, easy to maintain, and well suited to large working envelopes where a fancier robot would add cost and complexity for no benefit. The fifth type is the Cobot, short for collaborative robot. Cobots are designed to work alongside human operators without the safety fencing that traditional industrial robots require. Setup and redeployment are faster compared to industrial robots, which makes cobots attractive when you need flexibility across different processes or product lines. Cobots also generally have a more familiar user interface. The operating experience is closer to what you know from Windows, Android, or iOS compared to the traditional programming interfaces on conventional industrial robots. This makes cobots easier for operators to learn and use on the floor. However, I want to give you an honest assessment that some vendors will not. Speed and accuracy are the real limitations of cobots. Cobots operate at lower speeds than industrial robots by design. This is a safety requirement, not a product defect. On accuracy, be cautious with lesser known or lower cost cobot brands. Some of these brands publish accuracy and repeatability specifications that are only achieved under very specific conditions. When you replicate those conditions on a real production floor, the actual cycle time increases significantly. You end up with a robot that does not perform as you expected. My recommendation is to request a live demonstration using your actual part and your actual process before you commit to any cobot purchase. Reputable brands will accommodate this. Here is the selection logic in plain terms. Does your process require changing the object's orientation? Start with an articulated robot, then decide between an industrial robot for speed or a cobot for flexibility and safety. Does your process not require orientation changes and is speed the top priority? Select a Delta robot. Is accuracy and repeatability the main concern? Select a SCARA robot. Is the process simple and does the robot need to cover a large area? Select a Cartesian robot. One final point. One robot, one well-defined process. The most common mistake I see from customers is trying to automate too many steps with a single robot. Define your process clearly first, then select the robot type that fits it best. Your integrator will thank you for it. Jacky reads every single comment. Which robot type is your production line currently using and what process is it handling? If you are evaluating robots for a new process and are not sure which type fits, share your process in the comments below. I will give you my honest view. If you found this video useful, support my work by hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. Your support helps me keep going.